For today's activity, you're playing Clue. You're trying to eliminate suspects, weapons, and rooms to figure out pretty much who, what, and where. One thing that can be tempting with these problems is to work backwards. By that I mean foil this out, find it, and cross it out. I get that it's tempting. It's a good way to check your work. Please practice factoring. Tomorrow, we're going to move on to cases that aren't basic. So we're going to move on to cases where A is not equal to 1. And I want to make sure that everyone has the mechanics down. To help you get started, I just wanted to go over number 3 and talk a little bit about my thought process. For problems like this, some people like to make a table. They like to say, okay, what is going to add up to B and multiply to C? So they're going to write down all these factors of C and go from there. I don't think for these problems you necessarily need to do that. The one thing I would notice to start is that C is negative. So we know we're probably going to be working with at least one negative number. And then the fact that B is equal to 1 here, when I first look at 90, I'm thinking something like 3 and 30. Those are very far away. The fact that they're going to add up to 1 tells me that they're about 1 away. So that leads me to thinking about -9 and 10, or 10 and -9. So I just need to figure out which ones work. For this problem, I know that I'm going to end up with a positive B value. So I think a lot of you are going to be really good at the logic of saying, if it's going to be X up front, and I know I'm going to have a 10 and a 9, sorry that the green's not super clear, should it be a plus and a minus here, or minus and plus? Again, I'm not going kind of through the details of what you would do, but the logic that I think a lot of you are going to use is just kind of a guess and check here. If I practice foiling this out, x squared minus 9x plus 10x minus 90, this works out perfectly. If I'd mix them up, I'd catch it really quickly when I go to FOIL. If I look at my answers, that one didn't quite work, so let's scroll down. And here it is, so I can cross out the billiard room. So again, don't jump to conclusions just because 10 and 9 were right there. This one would cancel out the billiard room. You'll be able to continue. If you have a printer, I think it's going to be easier to print. But for the 18 problems, you can still look for special cases, look for any way to make your life easier. And as always, email me if you have questions. For today, if you want to give me a specific problem, I'll make a video like this walking through how I do it, or we can Zoom really quickly to kind of go over it.